At a news conference in Hollywood today, executives of this company made it official. There's The Tonight Show and there's life after The Tonight Show for Jay Leno. And there is a big change coming, a first for network television. This spring, as you may know, Conan O'Brien will take over Jay's shift and the legendary Tonight Show name. Today, we officially learn Jay is moving to a 10 p.m., 9 Central time slot. That's before your late local news, a new hour-long show each night. And so this afternoon, after Jay got up from his seat at the news conference, he sat down with us to talk about it.
It'll be the great experiment. This is not something I would have done earlier in my career, but at this point, after doing The Tonight Show for 17 years, and, you know, people say, hey, we'd like to see it earlier, and research shows that, you know, people go to bed earlier because of the economy, whatever it might be. We'll try it. We'll try it and see. I mean, I hope it's a success. We're going to work very hard to try and make it a success. It's not going to be The Tonight Show. I mean, it'll have many elements that I use in The Tonight Show, monologue and the headlines and the walk-around pieces. But we'd like to get more newsmakers and people like yourself on more often on a regular basis and make it a timely, up-to-date late-night show.
Now, it was said...
Or primetime show.
That's right, primetime show. Everybody's making that slip. It was said as recently as days ago that you were out. You were widely believed, widely rumored to be unhappy with the structure of the deal that brought Conan O'Brien in as your successor. You were quoted directly in USA Today as saying you were out of NBC. What changed?
Well, actually, what I quote NBC was, I'm out of NBC at The Tonight Show. Most of those rumors were started by a disgruntled employee, namely me. No, well, yeah, that's just what it is. I mean, I'm Scottish. We die in the mine. You know, I like to work, and I need a job somewhere. And I was more annoyed with the fact that people thought I was kind of retiring. Look, when you do a show like The Tonight Show, when I got that show, they said, you know, they're probably going to ask you to leave while the show is still doing well. That's just the way we do it. And I said, yeah, okay. And it kind of never really hit home. And then in 2004, we talked. And Conan is a good friend of mine. I've spoke to him a number of times about this already. And let's make it as smooth a transition as possible. At my age, it's nice to be wanted. This is essentially a young person's business. So the fact that people want you to stay on somewhere in some capacity is quite flattering.
So I just heard the New York Times reporter Bill Carter say on MSNBC you were this close to coming to a deal with ABC had this not happened to stay at NBC. So that's not true?
No, that would have been. I can't really talk to anybody until my contract runs out in September. And that probably would have gone together fairly quickly. You know, I'm not an agent guy. I don't have a manager. I'm a handshake guy. There's not a lot involved. I'm not a guy that wants to own the show. I don't get involved in that part of it. I just like to write joke, tell joke, get checked. That's pretty much my motto. So had I not worked out well with NBC, I'm sure I could have put a deal together in 3 or 4 days or a week. But that wasn't the case. When we come on in the fall, we'll come on before the fall season starts. Will people watch the ER type shows and the CSIs and those kind of shows? Maybe, but when the reruns come, they'll come to us. Or maybe people who go to bed at 10:30 or 11:15 and don't stay up for a whole hour, they'll watch part of our show, part of the comedy, part of the monologue, whatever it might be. It's a changing world. You have, you know, when I was a kid, there were 3 networks, and that was it. Now there are literally hundreds of networks, so you do what you can. So I think it's a decision that's partly entertainment and partly business. But at this point, you know, I'm moving on from The Tonight Show. Okay, would I have liked to stay there? Yeah, probably, but I get it. I understand how business works. That's fine. You should leave these things at the top of your game before you move on to something else. And so that's what this is. This seems like a noble experiment that we'll try, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. And we'll be able to do some things we couldn't do on The Tonight Show as well.
And that's what Jay's hair looks like most of the day.
Our #1 story in the countdown, keeping tabs. Original and radical and yet possibly the safest thing a broadcast TV network has ever done. Taking the highest rated late night program, The Tonight Show, and morphing it into a primetime series. Jay Leno at 10 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. He'll join us presently. Launches in the fall after Conan O'Brien succeeds Jay at The Tonight Show. Leno keeps most of the format, the monologue, the band right down to Kevin Eubanks, headlines, jaywalking, etc. At today's news conference, he joked that, quote, I'll be on right after the last hour of the Today Show. And NBC brass was remarkably frank. Suddenly the company only has 16 hours of prime time to fill each week, not 21. As promised, here he is, the man of the hour being now 10 o'clock Eastern, Jay Leno. Congratulations. We can't get rid of you, huh?
Thank you. Actually, the governor of Illinois is the man of the hour, but I'm thrilled just to have a chance to make a bid on the Senate seat. It was not accepted, but I thought 50 grand was more than enough to be senator from Illinois.
Apparently that would have worked with the governor if somebody hadn't stopped him in time.
And I loved his Josh Brolin from Harvey Milk hair. Did you see that? What was that hairstyle? What is that? What does this guy just step out of a 1980 yearbook? You see that?
Well, we don't know about that. We know where he's going to be stepping into in the immediate future. Is this? Listen, let me ask you. This brings up a serious point here. This will be a 5-night-a-week, obviously largely topical humor program in the middle of prime time or at the end of prime time on a broadcast network. Is 21st Century America ready for this? A lot of political humor and the stuff that you've been doing in late night now moved to prime time?
We are assuming NBC still has a prime time. Okay, there's your error right there. That's sort of the problem. You know, it is. It's a different model now. Because, this is not something that I don't think would have worked 10 years ago or even 5 or 6 years ago. And right now people go, it's interesting, when you talk to young people, they don't know Channel 2 from Channel 4 from Channel 148 from Channel 307. They just watch what they watch. And that's kind of what we're counting on. Look, we don't expect to beat shows like CSI that go against us, but those shows are only on 22 weeks. Mm-hmm. We're going to be on 46 to 48 weeks, so we can do topical stuff on a nightly basis. Plus, people go to bed earlier now. 10:30 is like 11:30 used to be. Mm-hmm. I mean, I speak to young people now, young couples that have kids or children, or, maybe they're not driving the car as much or taking public transportation and getting up an hour earlier. So it's a chance to do this stuff at a different time.
And do you think, obviously our concern here is the political element of things, and that's obviously one of your loves, let alone one of your areas of expertise. Do you expect that there's more, will there be more of a spotlight on that stuff at 10 o'clock at night than there would be at 11:30, or will it not be that much of a difference?
Well, I think you get more eyes watching. I think what will happen is a lot of people is what happens at 11:30. They tune in, they watch the monologue, they watch the comedy. If they don't like what you have coming up next, whether a stunt or a guest, they turn off and they go to bed. That's, when you work in late night television, you're always fighting sleep. The worst thing for us is 12 to 12:06 on all the networks, because you have that long 6-minute commercial and people just go, all right, enough already, and they turn off the TV and they go to bed. This is a chance to kind of move it up a little bit and see what happens. And it's cheap to do.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a win on every level. As a television move, stepping back from it, and obviously you've got to be pleased by it, but as a TV move, it solves 17 problems all at once. This is one of the great, seeding the cloud just right and getting 12 inches of snow from it moves in TV history, don't you think?
Well, I don't know. I hope so. You know what it is? This is not something I would have done at the beginning of my career, taking a chance. But at this point, I said to NBC, do some research. I'm a great believer in low self-esteem. I never think much about anything I do unless other people like it. So that's what they did. They did some research, and they said, because initially they had offered me a half-hour show at 8 o'clock every night. And I said, yeah, just me telling jokes and doing 1 or 2 comedy sketches doesn't seem like enough to hold it. I'd rather do a show with more elements in it, like The Tonight Show does. So they said, okay, let's see what's around. And then Jeff Zucker at some point suggested 10 o'clock. And I said, yeah, let's check into that. And we realized, we were doing better at 11:30 than some of the shows like Lipstick Jungle or My Own Worst Enemy did at 10 o'clock. They were getting a 2-7. We were getting a 4-3 an hour and a half later. And I thought, well, all right, maybe this can work earlier. We're going to certainly try hard and try to make it work. And if it works, you're a hero. If it not, it's the classic NBC failing upward. What? You screwed up? We're going to give you a promotion.
So you'd be a vice president of something. But, so if this works, what does this portend for the future of television? Is it next, NBC only has to get 2 other shows, one for 8 o'clock 5 nights a week and one for 9 o'clock 5 nights a week?
Well, the word is CBS is talking about putting Letterman on at 9:59. So that's what I hear.
All right, let me ask you one more topical thing, since you're going to be topical as ever.
Go ahead.
On this. The largest buyers of cars in the world. Number 1 is the United States. Number 2 is China. Number 3 is you. So how do you feel about the bailout of Detroit? And are you eligible to be the car czar? Where's it going to go?
No, actually, I found out if I buy just 2 more cars, I am eligible for a bailout. So I am going to go to Washington and do this. Yeah, I love the idea of a car czar. Like these idiots in Washington know anything about it. You have people who are trillions of dollars in debt. yelling at people who are billions in dollars in debt. So to me, the whole thing is just ridiculous. Yeah, that's why I want to have Nancy Pelosi designing the new Corvette. I think that would be a very exciting automobile.
I think she designed the old one. Jay Leno, congratulations again. Thanks ever so much for spending a couple of minutes with us. We appreciate it.
Come and see me. Come see me in person, so we don't have to do this phone thing.
You got it. The next time I'm in town, and I'll even make a special trip. I'll see you in the new year.
Thanks, pal.
Thank you.